What's up, Mets fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Mets'd podcast. I'm taking the intro, James, right now because we have to change things up because this team is dead, cooked, finished, horrible. Any adjective you want to give for how bad this Mets team is right now, it plays because we fucking suck. We can't win a game, just got swept again in Milwaukee. Lost 3 completely winnable games. If there was a team that was playing well with confidence, you sweep this series. And it's a disaster. You're inventing ways to lose. You're doing horrible things every single night on both sides of the ball. Not one person top down this organization is completely acquitted of blame. And we're going to talk about it. We've been really whiny for like a month straight, so we're not going to keep being whiny. We're going to be a little bit more, not like fully analytical, but definitely like dig in more, talk about some more nuts and bolts about why this team sucks. But they just suck. Thank you guys so much for continuing to listen through with us. Make sure you're following us on social media if you're not already. Mets'd on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Watch this on the Mets'd YouTube channel. What else do you say in the intro, Mark?
If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Maybe that's a good way. I think next episode we're going to read out some reviews. So if you want a shout out, drop us a review, 5 stars. You get a shout out. But yeah, I'm tired. I'm so tired of it. I can't even crash out anymore.
This one didn't even hurt, which is crazy.
No, what hurt was how we got there, the exhaustion of like knowing what was going to happen before it happened. Like we knew that the Mets were not winning this game as soon as Sean Manaea had the trouble in that game. And then we gave up the home run and we gave up the runs. And we knew this game was over. 6 runs wasn't enough. 7 runs wouldn't have been enough. Whatever the amount the Mets were going to score today, they were going to lose. It's just it's not in the cards right now. The vibes, the aura, the feeling of this team, just such a hard 0 right now. If you could go below 0, if negative numbers were a real thing, like that you could actually quantify, can't quantify negative numbers. You can't have less than 0. The Mets would be there.
Yeah, Mets'd up math with Mark, but it's
South
just
Carolina.
It did feel like that the whole way, and every single one of these games. Because, like I said at the top, every game was completely winnable. If the Mets were a team playing with confidence and any kind of good feelings whatsoever, you might have swept this series. You might have saved your season. But in every single game, they found a way to blow it in a way that they really shouldn't have. And I think that was the big feeling and through this whole game on Sunday because, like, you score runs in the first 5 innings of this game. The players are feeling good. Looks like they're joking around. Like, all right, hard to sweep a good team. The Mets are still, in air quotes, at the time, a good team. So, yeah, you find a way to win this third game and you get through it. And then the second there's the chink in the armor, you feel this Brewers fans, you feel the Brewers teams, and you're just like, we're going to lose again. Like, it's hard to fight those feelings, and that's the kind of part that's the most distressing about this run. So, like, all of you guys listening to this, you guys have watched a lot of baseball. You could see when a team looks like this, their shoulders. You could see the way they're acting, they're slumping, you're looking around, you're waiting for something bad to happen rather than expecting something good to happen. That's exactly how this team has been for months now.
Yeah, I mean, the way that they scored and hit Quinn Priester earlier, I was like, maybe that was rock bottom yesterday. Like maybe getting the shit kicked out of you by the Brewers late in the game with sloppy play and errors and just a laughable performance. So maybe that was rock bottom because they came out swinging. And then as soon as Quinn Priester left the game, I don't think the Mets got another hit. Maybe they got one more hit in this one.
I mean, DL Hall's coming off the mound screaming like, let's fucking go. Like, cause like and while this team is still down by multiple runs, it's like, you're watching 2 complete opposite teams going opposite directions right now. Like one team that's just utterly feeling themselves and one team that has lost all sense of feeling whatsoever.
The Mets have literally not pushed the right button for a month and a half. Every single button that's pushed by Mendoza is wrong. Every single button that's been pushed. I mean, Ryan Helsley blew this one. Like I like Ryan Helsley. I don't think he's a problem, but it's just like every single place you look, something that's made, any decisions that's been made, any activity that's been done, it's just been wrong. And I don't even really.
I mean, Edwin Diaz kind of blew this one too.
Yeah, Edwin Diaz blew this one. I mean, he hasn't pitched in a safe situation in 2 weeks now. Like, it's so shocking how bad this team is right now. So it's so shocking. And truthfully, like anybody who's like, we saw this coming, like, no, you didn't. Like enough. Like that's the most tired take ever. That you saw this coming, knew the Mets were going to regress. We knew that they weren't going to be as hot as they were to start the year. 20 games above 500 for the entire season would be out of control. That'd be insane. But for the Mets to be this version that they've been now for 2 months, and specifically since the All-Star break being just absolutely piss poor. I mean, they've lost, 10 of the last 11 games, I think?
Yeah.
It's the number. That was not on my bingo card, even with how the vibes have changed up and down this season. I didn't see this coming because this is not even what a bad baseball team does. This is like what the Rockies do. Like one of the worst teams in history, the way the Mets are playing.
Oh yeah, you can't watch a team play this stretch and have two of these stretches now, because we've had two of these stretches. We've had
Yeah.
two of these stretches where we basically have not been able to win a game for like 2 consecutive weeks. You can't expect any kind of deep postseason run, any kind of actual true team level of like legitimate team level of team success when a team can do this for multiple weeks inside of one season. You simply can't do it. And it's like it makes you question every single thing that's happened now with this team. You have to question the way the top of this team is. Like we know where the Juan Soto defenders. A lot of people I don't think watch the games game in and game out are like, this guy sucks. When it's like he kind of just is the one guy who's actually been able to do it. I know the runner score positions thing is still bad, but like whatever. Like between Nimmo, Alonso, and Lindor, it's like how far can that core as a supplement to Juan Soto take you now, actually going forward to the next couple of years that those guys have each in their prime? We're going on 2 straight months from Soto and Alonso where we have like a 650 OPS for Lindor and a 670 OPS from Alonso. That's just not, you can't, when those two guys combine to make $50-60 million, you can't hit that poorly for this long. You can't do it.
No, it's not sustainable. Like it's shocking how bad everyone is playing at the same time. Is there anybody playing well? Anybody?
Like in total, I mean, going into this series, I would have still said Francisco Alvarez was playing well, and he didn't really have that great of a series. But also, like, I don't know, all of these relievers that come to the team and suck. I mean, Sean Manaea hits the same wall at 70 pitches every single start. Kodai Senga, what a disaster by him on Friday night. Unbelievable disappointment. I would say Jeff McNeil's still playing well. He still gets hits every game. I would have said Mauricio was still playing well, but then he has that horrible misplay on Saturday night. Like, there isn't really anyone you can look top to bottom and be like, they're playing well. It's just, you're not. This is a team-wide issue. Every single guy sucking.
I mean, I hate to do this 7 minutes into the podcast, but like we're starting to have the Mendoza conversation, right? Like this is now a conversation. I'm not saying he's going to get fired. I'm not saying he should get fired right now, but I think this is at least he is a lot to blame. He's the manager, right? Like if me and you were going to be so tough on Buck in the past for being like horrible and doing his stuff, I think there's a lot of blame to give to Mendoza too, because process-wise, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the process with this team. I understand the starting pitchers aren't going deep. I know that's a problem. Take that for what it is, whatever. I don't even care to argue about it anymore because they need to pitch longer. It's not wrong. I would love to see Sean Manaea throw more than 70 pitches of effective baseball. I'd love to see Kodai Senga throw 4 innings of effective baseball. Those are things I'd love to see. But at the same time, like the lineup today, like hitting Nimmo third was crazy. That was insane. The guy is ice cold. Like colder than you could possibly be. I think he struck out over 50% of the time since the All-Star break. He hasn't hit a fastball, well, it seems like in weeks. To hit him third is crazy. Just from a process standpoint, to hit him third's nuts, right? Alonso's got to be hitting third.
Sure, but also in that situation, I'm just like, I don't really care about the way these top 4 guys are aligned because they're not hitting. I think that there were 2 things that happened this series where I was like, I've really questioned Mendoza because, and this is where the conversation comes in. Because again, like we said, the Mets had not just a chance to win all 3 of these games, ample chances to win all 3 of these games. To the point where, again, if they were playing with any semblance of cohesion, confidence, or a clue, you win 2 of 3 of these games, if not all 3 of them. But Friday night, after blowing the early lead from the Kodai Senga implosion, which I'll dig into in a little bit for you guys, Starling Marte to 2-out double. And I think that...
And great!
I think it shocked everyone because of how bad this Mets team had been hitting, including Carlos Mendoza. It did seem like there was 45 seconds where it would make a lot of sense when you have one of the slower players in your team standing on second base as the tying run to switch him out for a player on the bench who's objectively one of the fastest players on your team, Tyrone Taylor.
It's objectively one of the fastest players in baseball.
But that move didn't come. And then Jeff McNeil kind of fists out a little single to center field, one hopper, bloop shot to center fielder Blake Perkins. Marte's rounding third. I'm sitting in my apartment. I got 2 hands up in the air. Like, yes, we tied the game. Momentum's going in the right direction. And then credit to Blake Perkins, because I think a lot of this discussion missed the fact that Blake Perkins made a great play and a perfect throw.
Yeah, he made like a 150-foot throw, yeah.
It's a good throw. He did it. Yeah, he put it right in the exact spot it had to be.
Yeah.
And William Contreras supplies the tag, and Starling Marte's out by about a foot.
Did you actually think we tied it up?
I did, 100%. I thought that was an absolute lock.
I was like, he's out. As soon as that ball was hit, I was like, I think he's out. I was like, he's just not fast. He actually got a good jump, and this is even more of the reason why I was so wrong to have Starling Marte out. He actually did everything perfectly. He got a great jump. He ran faster than he normally does, and he was still out by like a 1.5 feet. I mean, to not bring in Tyrone Taylor in that situation if you're not going to use him, there was a moment in the game 2 where I thought in game 3 where Ronnie Mauricio was taking a right-handed bat against DL Hall. As much as I don't like Mark Vientos, if he's not going to take the at-bats against left-handed pitching, what's the purpose of him on this team? If Tyrone Taylor's not going to come into pinch runner for defense, what's the purpose of him on this team? And using your bench and using your players appropriately, that is 100% on the manager. And Mendoza had an absolute disaster class this series.
Yeah, he did. Especially, again, you mentioned those 2 right-handed at-bats for Ronnie Mauricio in game 3, which you just never, ever want to happen. Pat Murphy's grinning ear to ear when you get that. But it's also just so funny with the juxtaposition from Monday's game, Tuesday's game. I forget what happened. It was Tuesday's game where you do the pinch run for Tyrone Taylor and he doesn't get sent. So it's like we literally can't push any of the right buttons.
No.
So many of these games, you have opportunities to win them. And every single time you find a way to blow them.
And to Mendoza's credit, to everything, the players are playing bad. The team is playing bad. So everything
these things get magnified.
Yeah, get magnified because at the end of the day, if the Mets just score more runs, these aren't issues that we have. If the Mets play better, if the Mets score, hit, whatever it needs to be, we don't have to talk about this. But at the same time, the fact that now there are these high pressure situations, there are these process-less decisions that are being made, we are seeing Carlos Mendoza exposed a little bit as an inexperienced manager or someone who maybe is not following the process as strictly as we had hoped and is kind of going more off of the vibes that just worked last year that aren't working this year.
But again, like a lot of these field things, like vibe things, like I can see, but not pinch running with Tyrone Taylor as the tying run. Like there's no semblance of logic.
That's anti-process by not doing it because Tyrone is objectively much faster than Starling Marte. Starling Marte is like about as fast as Luis Torrens this year. Just to put that into context, when you look at sprint speed numbers on Baseball Savant.
Again, that's the average sprint speed in this when he's not really running that hard. But even in that sprinting moment, he's significantly slower than Tyrone Taylor is.
And the reason I think that's the vibes thing rather than like him, it's anti-process, it's vibes is like, he's like, Marte's fast. I mean, you heard everybody, you heard Keith talking about it on the broadcast. You saw people on Twitter being like, Marte's a good runner. He's fast. You're like, but we know that we have stats. We have numbers that will tell us Tyrone Taylor is faster. That was frustrating. It was like, I had a crash. That was my crash out night.
We have a little breaking news on HelloFresh. We've talked about them for a long time, but this summer they have their biggest menu upgrade yet. Ready for this, Todd Father?
Talk to me.
They have doubled their menu. Doubled. Now you can choose from 100 options each week, including new seasonal dishes and recipes from around the world. 100 options per week.
That's incredible. But to start out, what they had before was absolutely perfect. Now to add even more to your go guys like me. I got baseball in the morning. I got baseball afternoon, all day, every day. I need something to get going. I need something to eat, and it's absolutely delicious, Scott.
That's right, Todd Father. The best way to cook just got better. Go to HelloFresh.com/FT10FM right now to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life. 1 per box with active subscription. Free meals applied as discount on a first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan. That is HelloFresh.com/FT10FM to get 10 free meals plus a free item for life.
Yeah, that was bad. Then Saturday, I might argue that I got more mad just because of the way that implosion happened, where it was just ground balls, one gets past Ronnie Mauricio, and the fact that there's a 2-run error by Francisco Lindor that actually opens the door for the Brewers to kind of get back in the game initially. And you see the frustration bubbling over for Lindor when he just slams and slams and slams his glove on the ground. The only other time, 2 other times as a Met, we've seen Lindor act like that. One was when he choked out Jeff McNeil in 2021. And then the other time was early last season when this team was completely in disaster mode. And he had like the triple slam in the dirt when someone didn't back up, and there was a play where someone didn't cover.
We had that, and then we also had the one where it was like down the line, remember? And he started yelling at the umpire, which you never see Francisco Lindor do. They had the City Connects on. I don't remember the exact context, but he went ballistic as well. He's not a guy who shows emotion like that typically. So when Francisco Lindor shows that, I mean, the pressing that these guys doing are crazy. It's absolutely insane.
It's obvious. You can feel it. And then when Francisco Lindor goes in front of the media after the game for 10 minutes, you're just like, oh my God, it's like, this is just brutal. But he, on both sides of the ball, I mean, not so much defense. I know he hasn't been like the perfect defensive player this year, but like
still 91st percentile.
That's what I'm saying. Like that error makes it look bad. And then again, a 2-run error like that with the bases loaded, when you're trying to nurse Frankie Montas through as many innings you possibly can, like that hurt. And then watching him freak out about it, that hurts too. But then you come back to the fact that offensively, Francisco Lindor is tremendously dragging this team down right now. He is. He just is. And we've highlighted it multiple times. It seems very clear that he broke his toe in that game against the Dodgers, and it's impacted him dramatically. For some reason, when he had so much time to take time off, he didn't take time off. I understand that Francisco Lindor is a player who has a lot of pride. No one else in the league really strives. I mean, a few players do, but strives for 162 like Lindor does, Pete does, and a couple other guys. But Soto does as well, actually. But for him to just not, I mean, this I think also comes back to Mendoza, because like these are the difficult conversations you kind of have to have. And last year, again, everything went pretty well. Like after it went really bad at the beginning, but then it was just consistent momentum in the right direction the whole way. Like, this is something the manager has to do, possibly. We have to sit down, the star player, the de facto captain of the team, and be like, hey, I know it's not going well. I know. I've seen the x-rays. Your toe's fucking broken. Like, trying to play on that is really cool, and you're the Iron Man. We know you are, but you might just have to not for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I think it was a big reason that Francisco Lindor was able to get so hot and carry the Mets through the end of last season, the postseason, was because when that back was fucked up, he took some time off. And we may have missed the boat for him to be able to take time off, but like maybe not because he is playing so poorly. But like, if you're hurt, you have to sit. You just have to. Like, and maybe he's not hurt anymore. Maybe that's it. But like, we're seeing the same thing happen with Mookie Betts and the Dodgers right now, where it's just like lost seasons from superstars because you're trying to play through an injury that might not be worth playing through.
I did see Mookie talked about how bad his season has been. It was interesting to see him acknowledge it, but also he's like, I will not be able to turn these numbers around this season. No. This season is lost. He's like, but for the rest of the year, I need to do every single thing possible to help my team win. I need to make an impact from now till the last game of the season. And I don't think Francisco Lindor is not having that attitude by any means. I don't think he's out of that mindset, but it does there's just a weird feeling around everybody on this team right now where it's like pressing. Everybody's feeling the pressure. Nobody steps up. Nobody gets the big hit. Nobody makes the big play. Nobody makes the right decision. I don't know if I've ever seen a collective group of people all be so off at the same time. It's like 30 plus people if you think about this entire organization.
It's even funny too because you get through the first 5 innings of the game on Sunday and we scored run every inning. Every player had reached base. Yeah. Well, almost every player in the team had a hard hit ball besides Lindor and Nimmo, and Luis Torrens. But it's just like, even the second that Sean and I started letting those runs in, I was like, this is how it's going to go. And this is another thing I was pretty upset with Mendoza about, the fact that you can obviously see Sean Manaea losing it. And this is now almost every single start he's made since coming off the injured list. But you guys can watch it. Once he hits like 68, 69 pitches, 70, 71 pitches, he throws a fastball with low velocity, and then he starts trying to throw as hard as he possibly can. You see the velocity tick back up, but the command goes away. And you see him just kind of grit his teeth and get through as many batters as he can, and he can't do it. And then, of course, like, it's not his fault, but then Reed Garrett comes to the game with the man on base rather than just having come in a clean inning, gives up a quick home run, 2-run homer, gets this Brewers team off the mat. They start to feel good again. And then you're like, shit, like now the ball's going to start rolling. And then as this whole game is going on too, you see the Brewers, Pat Murphy, take their guys off the bench. They still were able to give Christian Yelich a full off day, which is crazy, but Bryce Terang draws his leadoff walk. South Freely
being 0-2.
Yes, again, that was off of Housley. Oh, they started that inning, yeah. But like, they bring the lefties off the bench that weren't playing because Manaea. While at the same time, when DL Hall had the lefties in the game, Mendoza kind of lets the bench ride. It's just like, I don't know. It's just there's nothing right is happening.
No, every single thing that the Mets could possibly do is wrong. 10-game losing streak, like.
They've given up
9-game losing streak, whatever it is.
They've given up 11 games in the NL East in 2 months.
It's insane.
Another guy I want to talk about where things are bad right now is Kodai Senga. Yeah. And we were really on this during spring training, early season, that like the most low-key, the player that could change the Mets' fortunes the most this season was Senga, because that was also wrong from us because we expected the top four to all be studs. We kind of expected Peterson to be himself. We knew that was going to be an uphill battle for Manaea and Montes coming back from serious spring training injuries. So a lot of this season rode on Senga being a guy who could be a trusted frontline, top of the rotation pitcher. And I know the ERA is still low, and I think this is a perfect moment to make everyone remember how pointless ERA can be sometimes, because watching Kodai Senga pitch, you're like, oh my God, like that start on Friday was bad. I think the worst he's ever looked as a major leaguer. And then at the end of the box score at the end of the day, only 1 run, 4 1/3 innings. Not that bad, but the way that 5th inning fell apart where he botched the bunt from Blake Perkins. I also think that if a pitcher makes an error, someone should be rescoring these plays so the runs are earned, because that's ridiculous. Yeah, if a pitcher makes an error, that's still not an earned run. But then the way that he lost the focus, and the next pitch was a spinner right down the middle in the color, Bryce Terang, the pitch we've been talking about a lot, that he's not been able to locate, the pitch that was the big difference maker for Senga, that made him into an ace during his rookie season. And after that, it's balls, you can't get ahead of guys, he's not getting swings and misses. This is the first game in his career he didn't get a swing and miss in the ghost fork. The Brewers completely knew when and where that pitch was coming. William Contreras hit one a mile that went foul miraculously.
Yeah.
It was every single time they swung at it, they make contact with it, which is alarming for the pitch that's supposed to be the one that Senga relies on for his bread and butter. And that continues to come back to the fact that he can't get ahead. He cannot locate the fastball or the cutter. It's the whole thing is kind of falling apart like a house of cards just because he's not – the consistency and the command is completely not there right now for him.
Yeah, I'm super disappointed, really disappointed in how he's looked. I know he's had injuries, but like, I also, like, every other team has injuries too. Guys come back and they pitch fine. Dodgers had guys that missed a lot of time. They're coming back. They're pitching great. I get they're better players. They're better pitchers than the Mets guys. Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow are two of the 10 best pitchers in baseball when they're healthy. Yamamoto. But like, Kodai Senga is a top 30 pitcher in the game when things are going right, and he's not even close. It feels like there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of guys on this team, and I guess this falls on Hefner too. This falls on Chavez, this falls on Mendoza, it falls on the entire organization as a whole. Everybody is to blame right now for what is going on, top to bottom.
Yeah,
there's like this weird, like, people look lost, confused, pressure, like everything is like so flustered. Everyone feels so flustered. They don't have any answers, and they're not getting any answers. And I don't know how that happens for 2 months, that you can't find an answer unless the answer is my favorite thing to say now on the podcast. Are they bad? Is this just a bad baseball team? That's the only answer that we're being led to right now, unless things change, and we're not seeing any change. We're not seeing any attempt at change. We're seeing, let's keep trying again. Can this happen again? Will it work again? No, it doesn't. Sean Manaea can't go past 70 pitches. Kodai Senga can't go more than 4 innings. Frankie Montas can't get anybody out. This offense can't score runs. Like, it's just game after game, we keep hitting our heads into the wall, being like, maybe this one won't hurt, and it hurts again every single time.
Now this one Sunday for the first time really didn't hurt that much. Friday,
well, I think that's just like numb. I think it's just I think for the Mets players, that's a crushing loss. I think for Mets fans, you're just like, whatever at this point, man. Like, Monday, thank God we don't have a game tomorrow.
It's almost like they need something crazy to happen. Like, the big thing last year that galvanized this team was the insane Jorge Lopez situation.
Yeah.
It's almost like we need something insane to happen. Like,
Literally.
there needs to be some real airing of grievances inside this clubhouse.
Everybody goes around at you. You're like, all right, first, Ronnie Mauricio. Who's one player that stinks right now that needs to do their job better? And then he says someone, and then that guy gets pissed. They start yelling at each other. Like, there needs to be something. There's no juice at all with this team. And there feels like there's no leader top to bottom as well.
It's a feeling of like constipation. Again, that does reflect poorly on both Lindor and Alonso. Nimmo and Alonso is the longest tenured players, and Lindor is the de facto captain. And then also there's a reflection on Soto because he was the guy that got added to this clubhouse. Everything he's doing on the field is great, and we all know what's happening in the clubhouse. But we do know when you add a player of that esteem who makes that much money, it is definitely a vibe shift. And it seems like there hasn't been like a full-on gelling. And then there's a reflection now also in David Stearns, because this year, again, we tried to do the patchwork pitching thing. And when we do the patchwork pitching thing, which we like, and we still think objectively looking at the way pitching free agency went this offseason, it was probably still the right decision. Corbin Burns blew his arm out. Max Fried for 2 months have been doing what the Mets have been doing.
Good. Yeah.
And then, like, again, the guy to sign, who I think you and I actually really wanted, was Nathan Eovaldi, but it didn't really seem like he was ever considering leaving Texas.
He signed with the Rangers instantly. Like,
it took a few months, but there was no murmur, there was no rumor about him going anywhere else. And then the other guy who was like the weird one was Nick Pivetta, but that was almost just the Padres lucked into that because of how poor they were. Like, that was something that every team was like, shit, at the end of the offseason. You cannot really forecast a guy like Pivetta signing for $4 million. But the problem when you do the patchwork pitching thing is that when you don't have the depth in minor leagues ready yet, and whether or not you think that Sproat or McClain were ready yet, internally the organization did not think they were ready because they never opted to use them. So when you get the bad injury luck like the Mets had, then your 50th percentile outcome shifts lower. And our 50th percentile outcome already we need some smoke and mirrors to get to. So now you have injuries to the guy was supposed to be, two guys supposed to be your top two guys. Another guy was supposed to be a back-end guy. And another guy, Griffin Canyon, we keep forgetting about, who was supposed to be a solid back-end guy, who was a solid back-end guy. Now it moves further away. So without that depth in the minors to replace these guys, things start to snowball. And then you go on a couple months straight now where no one goes 6 innings.
Yeah, it's insane that David Peterson is the only guy in the last 50 starts by other starters that has gone 6+ innings. It's insane. That one guy hasn't gone once in 2 months. That's crazy. That's unbelievable when you say it out loud. for something like that to happen. That being said, I don't think it's the end all be all. I think it's an insane stat. The Brewers pitchers go 5 innings every single game, and their bullpen's locked down, and they still win baseball games. Like, they have the 11th ranked innings per start in the National League. We saw that on SNY today. They flashed that. And I'm like, okay, I think both things can be true. Mets need their pitchers to go longer. And also at the same time, we don't need to force them to go longer when they don't have it, because then you get into the Sean Manaea situation that we saw today.
Totally. I think that's also the thing that we've talked about for a while, where it seems like there's a severed connection, severed piece of communication between the front office and the manager, where it seems like
there's a severed connection between the coaching and the manager, because we heard Mendoza mention the thing about how nobody makes adjustments. I'm like, that feels like that's on you guys to help them.
It's just everything is lost. And it seems like they want to be like, we have to get a guy through 6, but it's like, not if it's at the sacrifice of the actual game being played in the field. There's 2 starts in a row now where they tried to push Sean Manaea. And I understand that Sean Manaea has like a bit of a leadership role in this clubhouse. He's also the pitcher on the staff who makes the most money. That does make you de facto looked at by the rest of the players, the ace in air quotes. But if you don't, we know he's pitching with loose bodies in his elbow. We see him throwing 89, 90 mile an hour fastballs when he gets like a couple dozen pitches into these starts. Like, if you don't have it, you going an extra inning hurts the team. And then you look on the flip side where DL Hall just comes in the 5th inning, completely steadies this game, pitches with tons of energy, tons of emotion. And that's the role that I wish that we had one of our young guys pitching in. That we've been asking for that for months. And it does seem like now maybe one of those guys get a shot. Nolan McLean pitched Sunday on 4 days rest for the first time all season. He only threw 75 pitches. So maybe that's getting him ready in a little bit. But it's also like, since June, we've been asking for these guys to do that. And again, since then, we still haven't had any pitchers give us length. We knew we were going to be nursing Manaea and Senga for the whole month of July anyway. And Holmes. It just made sense to have some intentional mop-up guys in this bullpen. The Brewers have done this with DL Hall all season. Same with Aaron Ashby. Aaron Ashby's now working smaller outings, but it made sense. If they don't think they're ready, that's the reason. But like, they're probably better than what's been going on.
The big difference too is like Hagenman is our mop-up guy right now, and he doesn't have the juice that DL Hall has. Like, he doesn't throw 95. Like, DL Hall's got some stuff.
That's the same thing with Nolan McLean and Brent Sproat.
That's where I was going to lead to. Is I think that's just got to be their spot now. Like, if you don't want them to start right now, like Stearns did this in Milwaukee. We talked about it. He did this with Woodruff. He did this with Burns. This is a thing that he's done. Unless me and you don't know the full picture, which is of course possible, but like, I don't know, you're pretty locked into pitching stuff. You can see things. You're able to understand what's going on. It's not like it's at this level that's unintelligible for you. I can't really see how you can just not give one of these guys that spot instead of Hagenman. Because like, it is so valuable, especially with how the starting pitching is, to have someone who's got stuff, who's got some juice, who can get outs at the major league level for multiple innings, because the Mets need it badly.
The dog days of summer means it's time for the boys of summer to kick it into gear. And the best way to cash in on your baseball IQ is with DraftKings Sportsbook. Never bet on baseball before? It's simple. Pick a guy to go yard, hammer some live odds mid-game, or just ride with your squad and hope for the best. No spreadsheets, just vibes and dingers. Here's something special for first-timers. New DraftKings customers bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code FOUL. That's code FOUL for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY at 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas. 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Like, badly, especially, and it's like, the fact that we knew how much these guys were going to need this help coming back.
It's all you've been talking about from the beginning of the year. Since the beginning of the year, this has like been your number one thing. You're like, how are we going to handle the pitching at the end of the year? Because there's a lot of guys who don't have innings. There's a lot of guys who are going to need innings. Like, how do we handle this? And it seems like the Mets and David Stearns don't have the answer still.
Another thing that we've talked about a lot, which I shout out a good account on Twitter, Mets Analytics, about the Mets attack direction this year, that they're the team that hits at the opposite field as much as anybody in this league. We did 55 minutes on that in the third week of June talking about that. It's a big problem. And of course, today the Mets hit multiple opposite field home runs, but still, it's just like, when you're not getting the quality on your contact that you think you should be getting, that's usually the reason why. And this team continues to hit the ball the opposite way without authority. It's just like all these things that we talked about are coming back to bite this team in the ass. And it's just like, Where was the awareness of any of these situations?
I gave you the stat the other day when I was diving deep into just like random Mets stats. And the reason why like pulling the baseball so great, the reason why going center to left field if you're a righty or center to right field if you're a lefty, because you can work the middle of the field, but it's got to be pull side. When you work the middle of the field to the opposite field, that's where fly balls go to die. That's where you get outs. That's where you stop making good contact. Pete Alonso, when he pulls the baseball in the air, hits a home run 45% of the time the ball's in the air. That's not even one of the highest rates in the league. Christian Yelich is 75% of the time where he puts a fly ball in the air to the pull side. It's a home run, which is crazy. Or a fly ball, I should say, not necessarily in the air. So when Pete puts a fly ball to the pull side, 45% of the time it's a home run. When he goes to opposite field, it's like 9%. I feel like that's all you need to know is like, hey, it's harder to hit home runs. It's harder to do damage when you go opposite field. When there's 2 strikes and the pitch is on the outside corner, take the ball the other way. Put the ball in play. We saw the Brewers do that beautifully against us. And that's where I totally agree. Mets need to make more contact. Mets need to put the ball in play. Mets take so many strike threes, like totally fine. But the 0 strike counts, the 1 strike counts, you have to attack. You have to be looking to do damage. And at times I feel like the Mets are, like you said, looking to go opposite field. There was a pitch today. Pete was 1-0 to DL Hall. 1-0. You're in the driver's seat. You got one spot you're looking for that baseball. DL Hall throws him a low and in fastball that's too far in. And Pete flares it to right field. I was like, dude, you had no idea what you were doing at the plate. You went up there and said, fuck it. Let's see what happens. That can't happen. You have to have better approach. The game is hard. It's moving fast. It's easier said than done. But that's why they're the professional baseball players. That's why they're out there, and that's why none of us are playing. That's why we're at home listening and watching them. But they need to execute. There's no execution from top to bottom.
And another thing that's funny about this series, you could feel the absolute unvarnished optimism and positivity from this Brewers fan base. And how could you not? Because everything's going right. But like, it's just such a juxtaposition to where we are and where the Mets are right now. When Joey Ortiz had that at bat that was still against Minaya in the 4th inning, Joey Ortiz comes to the plate.
He sucks
as literally the worst qualified hitter in baseball. He entered this game with, I think, a 579 OPS.
And that's with his grand slam he hit against us.
But the Brewers fans, when he's at the plate, the 9 hitter, who's the worst qualified hitter in baseball, I'll say it for a second time, a huge disappointment. And again, he was the main piece they got back for the Corbin Burns trade, and he's having this season. He was good last year. So
and DL Hall.
And DL Hall. Just imagine if we got that return for a superstar for the Mets. Mets fans would be crucifying the people making the decisions. But the Brewers fans are chanting, Joey, Joey. And I'm just like, holy shit. This is the worst hitter in baseball. And these fans are like, go get him, Joey. It's like, I wish we had that positivity like we had last year again. But I
don't blame everyone for being negative.
100% not. I think it's just funny to see the two sides of the same coin right now. Two teams going in the complete opposite directions, like we said at the top.
Boo birds are going to be loud on Tuesday.
I'll be there.
Are you going to boo?
I'm not going to boo off the bat. If there's a booing situation that comes, I don't think I've booed a Mets team since I was like a kid.
I think I might have a little in 2023.
Maybe a little bit. We were not really all there in 2023.
No, we weren't.
Neither of us were.
Yeah,
but
we knew we were on the way out, like Buck.
Yeah, right. All 3 of us, 3 peas in a pod. But got a banger tweet from Mike Vaccaro, a legend right now.
Nice.
Mets have spent 19 years trying to forget the 2006 Cardinals. Really good start.
Holy shit.
But St. Louis had 2 7-game losing streaks that year, as well as an 8-game losing streak, all of them coming after the middle of June.
That's an insane tweet.
I'm
back in.
That's the Kings thinking. Because that's the other part about all this. This team fucking is ass right now. Is such ass. But we have a gift. Turbo mega ass. But we have a gift from Rob Manfred that he's bastardized the game that we love. And he lets mediocre teams into the postseason every single year. And while we're a mediocre team, the Cincinnati Reds are also a mediocre team. We're going to fight it out for this wild card spot. 2 mediocre teams.
Coughing baby versus coughing baby.
For the next 6 weeks. And we suck. I don't know if we're going to get it. I'm not confident we're going to get it. But luckily, the Reds also aren't that good. And we go to Cincinnati for 3 games in a couple of weeks.
We would have to go.
Maybe, Ohio. Huh? Could we time that up with an Ohio State game? That'd be kind of fun, actually.
But
it's just like, it's as bad as this is. Like, it would be worse if we were playing the old school baseball and like we'd be fucking cooked.
Yeah, 1 wild card team or even 2. I'd be like, oh shit,
dead. And also, while we're saying that, we are so much worse than the good teams in the National League.
Oh yeah.
The Phillies, and I told this to you like a month ago, and you yelled at me for it. The Phillies are so much better than us. It's not even funny. Every single position group.
Yeah.
The Padres are fucking awesome. The Padres are rolling right now.
They went out and made their team better too. They went out and like O'Hearn and Laureano and Mason Miller, and
we did too.
Years. Well, we just went for the bullpen. I know our difference is that like we had a good team on paper going into the year. Nobody's playing well. they didn't have those players on paper. They went out and got those good players. So tip your cap to the Padres, making their team better.
There's also definitely something emotionally, mentally that happens to a baseball team when you know you've traded your best prospect. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the players in the clubhouse are aware, not to the level of some of us who cover the game are, but like they're aware of Leo DeVries and like what he's considered, what he is, how much money he made, especially as an international guy. The guys know that. So when you see that your general manager, I'm not advocating the Mets should trade all of their top prospects.
Oh, no, yeah.
But I'm saying like
could have had our deadline.
They could have had our deadline. The Mets boys won the championship in out of the park baseball, but that's neither here nor there. But that's a signal to your clubhouse, like, hey, just fucking put up or shut up time. And I think there has to be. I never know how realistic these things are, but like I love the scene in Moneyball when Billy Beane walks into the clubhouse, he takes the bat and fucking smashes the speaker.
Yeah,
not that I could ever see David Stearns do anything like that, but
no.
I would love to see. And I even told you this yesterday when we were hanging out having late night souvlaki in Astoria, but. I objectively like the fact that Mendoza and Stearns go in front of the media and like keep it cool, because if you're someone that keeps it cool generally, then you start to freak out. That could scare the people who you're meant to be leading. If you're a fiery guy, then I like the fire, but if you keep it cool, you should keep it cool. Internally, there should start being some fire. There should be something should slam against the wall, something should bang, like something should happen right now where you have to just absolutely like completely upend everything going on internally with vibes of this team.
Yeah, something's got to happen. I'm a little bit different. I think while being calm, cool, collected is good, I think that's what makes the blow up even more valuable. Is that because that's when you know that there's a frustration that things are unacceptable.
Sure. Blow up is different internally and externally. I don't think you should ever be blowing up to the media. Like you're
not going to go to the media and be like, Francisco Lindor's been dog shit for 2 months and Brandon Nimmo can't hit. But I think there should be
inside the clubhouse.
Yeah, inside the clubhouse, you can say whatever you want to those guys. Do whatever you want. We'll never know what's said.
No.
To the media, I would like to see. Am I going to say it, James? We need a Terry Collins fucking prep talk right now. We need a little something. There just something to shake it up. Something has to change, because I know it doesn't actually matter what Mendoza says to the media. The questions are nonsense. The answers are nonsense. It doesn't matter. It's a futile exercise. It's just they do it because they have to. The papers have to write. SNY pays a lot of money for this. But like just a little something to put on the bulletin board, a little something to spark somebody. Maybe you talk to Lindor and you're like, hey, like, are you cool if I say this? And you just be like, Lindor's got to step up. He's our leader. Like, even as simple as that. Francisco Lindor needs to be better. Let him know that you're going to say it so it's not like a surprise.
Yeah.
Just to give some sort of feeling, because there is no feeling with this team at all. Positive doesn't exist.
No, there's no oomph.
No, zero oomph. I would even like to see, if we're going to oomph, like, give me even a bad oomph. There's nothing. It's just like,
some internal. That's why also like that moment last year with Jorge Lopez galvanized.
That was a little oomph.
They were like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, that was
like I've never
oomph.
seen anything like this in my life. Like we need something crazy to happen where people can kind of like the mentals have to change. Like I
need like Jeff McNeil to fight Rhys Hoskins. Where was Rhys Hoskins? Is he hurt?
Yeah, he's been hurt. That's why I think I have Andrew Vaughn.
I just thought they were just playing Andrew Vaughn because he's better.
But that also probably will happen in a few weeks when Rhys Hoskins is healthy. But like this is time, and the Mets have a moment in their schedule now before it gets really fucking hard in September again.
September's hell.
We play a lot of good teams in September, but
like almost only good teams in September.
And anything else you want to say about this Brewer series?
Bad. Thank God there's no game today. Everybody enjoy time with your family. And Tuesday there is a game.
I'll be there. I'm ready for that one. But let's go on to the preview of this Braves series, because if there was ever a moment where a horrible, dog shit, miserable Atlanta Braves team could rip our hearts out, this is it.
Yeah, no, this is their World Series. They have nothing else to play for besides making Mets fans miserable. And we know they keep an eye on Mets people.
Yeah,
especially in the Braves clubhouse.
And a lot of the players in that clubhouse are the winning players that have handled this Mets team for their entire careers. But pitching matchups in this series, I'm going to tell you these three matchups, and you're going to fall back in your chair. Ready for this?
Yeah, okay, hit me. I know one of them.
Tuesday, 7:10. Excited to be in the ballpark for that one. Shout out to homie Subs. Shout out Connor, going with the little crew. Clay Holmes against Spencer Strider.
Oh, he's going Tuesday? I didn't know that. Oh.
Wednesday, 7:10 on FS1. I hope it's also on SNY, but David Peterson against Carlos Carrasco. Bit of an ace-off.
Jesus.
And then Thursday, another night game. I think we're both going to be at that one as well. That could be time for an insane train episode. You guys can just let this whole thing out on the train with us. Kodai Senga against Bryce Elder.
I mean, Spencer Strider's going to pitch well, but if the Mets don't knock both Carlos Carrasco out of the game and Bryce Elder before the 5th inning, Eric Chavez and Jeremy Barnes cannot have their job on Friday morning. That's a declaration. Otherwise, hunger strike.
Hunger strike.
Strike.
If both of those guys complete 5 innings and Eric Chavez has has his job on Friday morning, will you not eat the whole day Friday?
Yeah, hunger strike.
Hunger strike.
Hunger strike.
I won't join you in the hunger strikes. I think that will happen. So I'm not going to join you on that one. My hunger strikes are exaggerated for a reason.
Yeah, they both have to go 5 innings, and the Mets. Yeah, they both have to go 5 innings. Eric Chavez keeps his job. Hunger strike Friday.
Hunger strike for Mark on Friday. Keep an eye on the hunger strike. Something to watch with Spencer Strider. He's not been the Spencer Strider of old since he came back from his second major elbow procedure and the eternal brace. He's just lost a lot of life on his fastball. So what happens is while he still tries to get swings and misses in that fastball in the zone, the whiff rate's gone from like 30% to like 7%.
Whoa.
Yeah, and specifically fastballs in the zone. So you have to hit him. People have been hitting home runs against Spencer Strider. They kind of pigeonhole, wait for that fastball, then like lay off the slider.
What about singles? Are teams getting singles off of him?
I'll look into that as
what
much.
What about they take it the other way? How many hits the other way for singles have there been?
Big thing with Strider right now, again, is if I'm able to identify this game plan from my desk in my room, there should be an identification of going on this Mets team.
But James, you never played a game in your life. You didn't play in the pros, dude. You don't get
I didn't play in the pros, but it's a hittable fastball right now. People are pelting that shit. So this is the moment where you're going to get fastballs in the zone. Maybe Spencer Strider laughs at me after this start. He throws 25% changeups the first time this year. But the game planning should be attack his fastball. And the game plan against Carlos Carrasco and Bryce Elder should be attack everything.
I'm going to be honest. I have like such little idea of what's going on with the Braves because they've been pretty insignificant this year. Acuna's not playing, right? He's hurt.
Acuna's out. Austin Riley's out. You know who's on fire? 2 guys.
Nacho Alvarez.
No. Much easier answers than that.
Michael Harris.
Michael Harris is now doing the thing where he's been unconsciously hot for like 3 straight weeks.
Sweet, love that. And then the other guy is going to be Jerkson Profar.
No, I'll give you a hit. He's hit a woman, allegedly.
Marcelo Ozuna.
Yes, Marcelo Ozuna, baseball's favorite criminal, has also been blazing hot. So for some reason, no one wanted to take the $7 million he was owed for the rest of the year. And he didn't want to play for any other teams either because I guess the Braves protected him so much when he should have been in jail and out of Major League Baseball. So
5, right?
Yeah, I understand how much he wanted to stay there, but he's got his OPS in the season back up to like 800. He's completely lighting it on fire right now. Even Albies is hitting a bit better. So like these guys who Sean Murphy's also hitting a bit better. Drake Baldwin could be the rookie of the year in the National League. We just saw his main competition in what's his name? Isaac Collins with the fucking walk-off home run. The second I make a YouTube video about him on Sunday, but it's just like this Braves team they are so excited to try to possibly step on our faces. And this is their World Series to do it.
I will not be there Tuesday. I won't be there Wednesday. I'm hoping the Mets are, though. I hope the Mets make it to Citi Field for Tuesday and Wednesday and actually show up and play a baseball game because it's been about 2 weeks since the Mets have really shown up. I was on the West Coast the last time. I was in Portland last time the Mets played a good baseball game. And since then, since coming back to New York, I think there's maybe been one decent game. So fun stuff for this team. Really exciting. Can't wait to watch on Tuesday and Wednesday. Woo!
Real disaster. Luckily, even though we did such a quick episode after the end of the game, thankfully, Frankie Pepper's got his voicemail in time.
I need some sauce, Frankie. I need something.
This team might really need some sauce. Frankie, maybe you should make a bolognese for the club.
And send it. And they'll throw it away, but at least the gesture of sending the sauce.
If he just shows up to the players' entrance with a bag of bolognese.
That'd be sick. Or just
drops it there.
I was going to say, just drop off a bag right by the little garage on the first base side. Just a bag of bolognese. People, is that like, what is in there?
Is that human remains? But without further ado, here's Frankie.
Gentlemen, this is Frankie Peppers. How you doing? I have something for you to hear.
Okay.
That's my toilet. Because the Mets are playing like a toilet right now. We stink. I'm getting tired, boys. I don't know if I got nothing positive to say, so instead of saying anything bad, I'm not going to say anything at all. Except, the toilet. I wasted water for this joke, but I hope it landed. So.
That's it?
Wait. No, 8 seconds left. Low battery mode. Close it out.
I don't got anything to say. Let's hope they do something. Take care, boys.
Also, maybe the toilet is a metaphor for what the Mets need to do. Flush what just happened. Season starts Tuesday. Got to win some baseball games. Got to play 3-4 games above 500 the rest of the season. Make the playoffs.
You also gotta. We talked about this just off air, but we can't believe there's a good team inside here until we see it again with our eyes. Like, there's no more regress to the mean. Things will turn our way. There's no more of that benefit of the doubt for this club anymore. We have to see a string of good baseball in a row. And the only way to do that is to keep playing. Like, I've gotten like the '07 pit in my stomach watching this team this last couple of days. The only thing that was different then was that the season was literally ending. Somehow we still have 7 weeks of baseball left.
I can't even believe it. It feels like it's going to take forever.
There's so much baseball left to be played. We were at 117 as of today, so we still have 45 games. Yeah, 118. 44 games of baseball. We almost have a full Dodger 2020 season.
Full circle right there. Math with Mark at the beginning, math with Mark at the end. That's it. That's the Mets'd Up podcast, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure you follow us on all our social media at Mets'd Up on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Subscribe to the Mets'd Up podcast YouTube channel if you want to see the video version. If you're listening to us, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, drop us a rating, drop us a review, download, and subscribe. Again, drop us a review. Shout you out on the next episode. We'll be taking a look at those. You can follow James on social media at
James Shiano.
I'm Giraffe Neck Mark with a C. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. It's just, I don't even know. I can't win. Play better. Let's go, Mets.
Let's go, Mets.